Hello, everyone. Welcome back. And today's topic is the science of imagination. I'm going to read something here which Albert Einstein has said. I'm enough of an artist to draw freely on my imagination, which I think is more important than knowledge. Knowledge is limited, and imagination encircles the world. Now, do I need to say anything more than that? Because if Einstein has said this, the scientist of the century, has emphasized on imagination. He also said that if I have a problem in hand, I spend 55 minutes thinking about the problem and 5 minutes on the solution. Imagination gives you the ability to come up with unique creative solutions. The findings have from the studies have shown that imagination is used if it is used properly, it activates a large portion of your brain. you know it actually creates an interconnecting network of your creativity actions across whatever you've done in the past, whatever you're looking forward in the future, what's happening in the present. So it gives you a 360-degree view of your situation, and it can provide greatest of the solutions. Scientific discoveries to astronomical discoveries, nothing would have been possible without this one skill of imagination. When we are young, as children, we have a greatest ability to imagine. But later on, we just cut it out by, stop asking questions by sudden conditioning. And this entire, cutting off our ability to imagine is actually keeping us in our low levels of performance and productivity. So, if you look back millions of years back when the humans were evolving, and our early ancestors, those who are living in the cave, they showed the basic levels of imagination, like, tool making abilities, cooperative hunting skills, and social interaction and colonization. But as we kept evolving, our imagination kept evolving more and more. When we reached the size when we reached the modern human stage, our brain actually evolved, and it became bigger. It increased the size of our brain, and it helped us to actually build more technical skills, more creativity, development in social complexities, figuring it out what's going on in the other person's space by just looking at their expressions, farming, sophisticated tool making, complex language development, the performance of rituals, and development of art and crafting all required a complex development of thought and mental interpretation, interaction, and imagination. Now, science has shown that imagination stimulates our brain function and activity. It literally expands the mind as it encourages connections between so many areas within the brain. It's the prefrontal cortex that goes into imagination, drawing on to your past experiences, your current situation, and what can happen, the consequences of this situation, of this decision making. There's a lot of things goes on in your prefrontal cortex when they are imagining. Both neurologists and psychologists agree that playing in early childhood is necessary for children to develop at a normal rate and to reach their full potential. But this is not just at the childhood stage, it is for humans even at the later stage. Because imagination and play plays huge role in your brain development. Science has proven today that there is something called as neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity means your brain's ability to constantly wire and revive it. It evolves constantly every single night. So, actually, imagination helps you rewire your brain at a neurological level, and it can actually help you increase the number of neural connections within your brain linking to different regions. And the more the links are connected, the more you're active in your brain. It really, really helps you to keep your brain young as well. Now, imagination on its own is an activity, it's a whole brain activity. So when you close your eyes and when you start smelling, like, imagine your one sense is not working and start touching objects or start imagining what's there in that object. Or maybe if you can't hear something or can't see something, and just by the smell, if you're able to activate your brain, rather than having the isolated sections of your brain working for you, imagination can give you the whole brain activation, which is so very powerful in producing the results in your life. So, the whole brain has always shown to have increased child's problem solving abilities, your emotional development, and social interactions. So, today, if you're suffering from all of this, then maybe it's a great idea that you can activate your imagination power. And there are so many things that you can do. I'm going to share about that in a very short while. That what all things can you do to increase your imagination power? You need, you know, for anything, like even the scientist, like, we generally think that imagination is something that the artists require. But if you see, the biggest of the scientists in the world have been artists and scientists both together. Without imagination, William Harvey would not have discovered the full circulation of blood in human body. Sir Isaac Newton would not have defined the concept of gravity. Albert Einstein would not have developed the theory of, special and general relativity. Imagination is a sibling of creativity. It is just like picturing things in your brain. It happens very often, like when we plan something in our head, when we think about the past or future, when we dream, when we fantasize, and especially when we are daydreaming. We spend 20% of our time doing that on average. Now, if you want to improve on your imagination skills, I'm going to give you some tips. So, take your pen and paper and start writing it. So, what you can do is first thing, and this is something which is very cliche, but I would still say that it is going to enhance your cognitive skills and brain activity. Just take a walk. A group of researchers at Stanford University found that walking boosts creative and imaginative state. They compared the creativity level of people in both cases, walking and relaxing. The results showed that the creative output increased by an average of 60% just walking. Go outside for a walk, let your mind, wander, then see what new ideas and thoughts and impressions come to light. You will see this coming to you so very often when you empty your mind and when you put things inside your mind by reading. Reading broadens your imaginative and creative skills. Not watching a movie or not watching audiovisual, but just reading. When you read something, your brain starts, processing that thought or that whatever you read, that paragraph, and creates a visual in the back of the mind to process that information that's going inside. It starts stimulating the right part of your brain. And because while reading, you're solely dependent on words that would automatically create pictures in your mind regarding the scenario. It's a great ability, and it's great, these days, very rarely we see people reading. People are mostly on audio visual, but trust me, this is a great activity. You can probably start doing 5 to 10 pages every single day. The third one is writing. Again, very underestimated activity, underrated activity. Writing short stories or fiction is wholly dependent on imaginative and creative skills. Now, if you remember as a child, we all have written that one story about a superhero, that one story, something or the other that as a child we have written and done. It has powerful effect on building imagination as you're trying to interpret the events in your brain that you have never experienced before to other people. The fourth activity that helps you to increase your imagination is meditation. Like as I said, imagination works with the prefrontal cortex, and meditation works really well with the prefrontal cortex. When you do a guided meditation or visualization, it helps in picturing positive images and ideas, which increases the ability to focus on complete silence. And when you're in complete silence, automatically your brain starts focusing on more imagination and creative ways to find solution for your problems. Most of the quality people use visualization meditation to boost their capabilities by three simple steps. They imagine it, they believe it, and they repeat that in their mind. Isn't it law of attraction? Right? You imagine it, you visualize it, you believe it, and you repeat that in your mind. The fifth one is your puzzle solving and playing. Puzzle solving, sudokus, it helps you to, great mind challenging exercises for all of us. Like you can do this every single day. Too much sitting on the desk is destroying your creative abilities. So getting out there, maybe playing a game like a chess, or even physical game like a basketball or badminton or tennis, whatever works for you. It makes your brain think 5 times ahead of usual. So, incorporating a playing or a cardio activity will really help you to strengthen your imaginations. And the last one is something that probably as youngsters we have done, and because when we grow older, due to lack of time or lack of more responsibilities, we just kind of forget it. At least once in your life, you must have lied down on the terrace and done stargazing. Stargazing is a great activity to start imagining and start building those connections in the stars. The natural night skies are common and universal heritage. All of us have it and free. Yet it's rapidly becoming unknown to the newest generation. Like I remember spending hours stargazing when I was younger. In absence of light pollution, the night sky is always so magical and flawless to try your imagination. Star gazing and sky gazing was a classic method owned by many great thinkers and achievers for inspiration in our history. So these are the some simple tips that you can start improving your imagination and your creative skills. Which one do you start using now? Let me know in the comment section.